campaign. Thank you both very much. Now we turn to the man who's making his 5th run for president. Ralph Nader has already enraged Democrats who believe he cost Al Gore the White House in 2000. And he drew more fire this week when he accused Barack Obama of downplaying poverty issues like payday loans and lead paint and of trying to talk white in his campaign. Obama brushed it off.
Ralph Nader's trying to get attention. He's become a perennial political candidate. I think it's a shame because if you look at his legacy in terms of consumer protections, it's an extraordinary one. But at this point, he's somebody who's trying to get attention and whose campaign hasn't gotten any traction.
And Ralph Nader joins us now. Welcome back to This Week.
Thank you, George.
So you just heard Barack Obama, and I've looked back at his speeches, obviously been coming in his campaign. He talks about poverty an awful lot. He has been actually worked against the Environmental Protection Agency to try to crack down on lead paint. He's cracked down on predatory lending in both the Senate and the state Senate. As a community organizer, he took on asbestos. So it seems like Obama has been working on the issues you care about, but you just haven't been listening.
I have been. Just look at the positions he's taken that corporate America are very congenial to. If you really want to cover everybody on health insurance and save thousands of lives and hundreds of thousands of illnesses, you would go for single payer, which a majority of the American people want and a majority of doctors want. He's opposed to single payer. The HMOs are opposed to single payer. The big health insurance companies are opposed to single payer. If you want to give 100 million Americans a break in terms of their livelihood and wages, you would go for labor law reform. You'd repeal Taft-Hartley and give them opportunity, low-income workers, to organize and collectively bargain.
Labor law reform.
But he's never said he would repeal the most anti-union law in the Western world, the Taft-Hartley law. The same with if you want more jobs in the inner city, you know, public works, schools, clinics, libraries, sewage treatment systems, you've got to reduce the bloated, wasteful military budget, George. And he's not doing that. He wants to expand the military budget. So,
but you can see now, on those issues you brought up earlier in the week, because those were some harsh comments you made about Barack Obama, where you said he's trying to talk white, where lending, payday loans, lead paint. He's talked about and acted on all those issues. He
has not done it. He is clear. Look, 97% of the CEOs in the Fortune 500 are white. This is a white power structure. 100 million Americans are, you know, underpaid, overcharged.
Then you keep changing the subject. That's a separate issue.
No, he hasn't. Let me give you an illustration. What's going on here? If he was really serious about lead paint and asthma and asbestos, he would propose in the Congress a major task force for the inner city. He hasn't done that. It's easy just to talk. Admiral Rickover used to have this phrase, say, do. Say one thing, but not do what you're saying.
He said he would do that as president. That's the speeches he's given. He went to Anacostia and laid out an entire poverty agenda.
Look, here's the thing. Adolph Reed and Bill Fletcher are very respected black leaders. Adolph Reed called Obama a vacuous opportunist. Bill Fletcher said if you're going to support Obama, you've got to be very critical and you've got to push him, push him, push him. He's backed off on so many things. He voted for the war, except once, funding for a war. He voted to reauthorize the Patriot Act. He's ducked on the FISA thing, for example. He's pandered to AIPAC and the militant part of the Israeli approach to oppressing and colonizing and occupying the Palestinians. He says he's against the war, but his plan would keep 50 to 80,000 troops there and bases.
Here's what I don't get. Is there any doubt in your mind that Barack Obama would be a better president for your issues, for the things you care about, than John McCain?
Well, anybody would be better than the Republicans.
But then why do you train all your fire on the Democrats? That's what you did in 2000. Well, no, you raised it this week. That's one of the reasons I'm coming to ask you.
Well, anybody who asks me about John McCain, I'm ready to go. John McCain is basically moving toward becoming a clone of George W. Bush. He used to be seen as a maverick. He's backing away on one issue after another. He was against this tax cut in the early part of the Bush administration for very good reasons. He's backed away. He stands in front of the corporatists and he basically says, I'm your man. John McCain is dropping in the polls because of that. Nobody's going to vote for a pro-war Republican in any majority in the next election.
But isn't the consequence of your candidacy however many votes you get, you didn't get as many in 2004 as you did in 2000, that it's going to hurt the Democrat Barack Obama more than it'll hurt the Republican John McCain?
Well, I think the two parties are hurting our country, and they need more competition. As we see on our website, votenader.org, you will see the issues that we have on the table are majoritarian issues: single-payer health care, doing something about the wasteful military budget, labor law reform, consumer protection, living wage, etc. And it's off the page for McCain and Obama. You know, the problem is, George, is too much political bigotry against small parties and candidates. You see it in these huge ballot access laws, which we're trying to overcome now with our road trippers, very, very costly. We're excluded from the debates. Why do we ration debates? Why don't they have staggered debates? You got Wimbledon, the 60th seed gets a chance. You got NCAA, the 60th team gets a chance. You have you have a huge role of wealth on it. We're appealing to the people in this country.
That's a new analogy. I haven't heard that one before. Let me ask you.
We're appealing to the people in this country who want more choices on the ballot, and Nader Gonzalez provides those choices.
Yet you're only on five ballots right now. But let me ask you.
We'll be on at least 45.
Let me ask you a different question, because a lot of your allies in the progressive movement say that your candidacies have actually hurt the cause. Public Citizen, you founded Public Citizen, lost 20% of its members and $1 million in donations after the 2000 campaign. A second group, Citizen Works, has all but collapsed. How do you answer the charge that your campaigns are hurting the causes that you helped create?
That's political bigotry. Why are all these people who agree with us on the issues behaving this way? Because I believe that the two parties own the voters in this country, and you go for the least worst party. And if you go for the least worst party, you don't make demands on that least worst party, your votes are going to be taken for granted, and the corporate interests are going to pull both parties in their direction. They can't seem to figure that out. The Nation magazine, for example, and the Progressive magazine, they have all these recommendations and reforms, and they're hostile or indifferent to the Nader Gonzalez campaign, which is the only one that comes up 6%, 4%, sometimes 8 and 10% in Michigan in the polls, that's pushing their very agenda. They have no breaking point, George. There's no moral imperative there. They will forever put the ring in their nose and provide the tether to the least worst corporate Democrat.
Of the Nation coming up next. I'll ask her about that. But let me just close. We're just about out of time with one question. Joan Claybrook, a close ally of yours at Public Citizen for many, many years, said, and I read it just the other day, that the country would be enthralled with you if they really knew you. Tell us one thing about Ralph Nader that most people don't know.
I have a great sense of humor, because in humor there is truth. And if we take on these, George. And the important thing,
I don't know if that's funny or not, but it is Greek. You speak Greek as well.
That's right. The important thing is to be able, I mean, Hillary gets on all the time, gives her website. Let me give the website, votenader.org, Nader Gonzalez. We want volunteers, we want technical help, we want road trippers to get on the ballot, and we want contributions to our campaign, because we do not take commercial money or PAC money.
And with that pitch, we are out of time. Ralph Nader, thank you very much for your time this morning. The roundtable is next with Katrina Vanden Heuvel, Hugh Hewitt, Ariana Huffington, and Byron York. And later, the Sunday Funnies.
Yesterday, Mitt Romney said Barack Obama has not accomplished anything during his life. Really? He ran a successful presidential campaign. That's what he can say for Romney.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos, brought to you by IBM Blade Center.